Alright people, a bunch of new content has been added to the 40th anniversary of Flight Simulator. We have new airports, new helicopters, new gliders, we got a bunch of new stuff, but today we're gonna look at helicopters. So let's go on the world map and select our helicopter here. If you want to see the helicopters in only one view, we're gonna go here into all rotorcrafts and you're gonna see these two new helicopters. We have the Bell 407, which actually has different new liveries. Quite a few. And then we have the Gigabyte G2, which is what we're going to use today because this is probably an easier helicopter to fly. In fact, it's used as a training helicopter. Gigabyte G2, you can see on the map that there are actually quite a few new heliports, but we're going to go to Megsfield Helipad, which is actually pretty interesting because this is actually a new airport that has been added. So let's start flying actually, maybe put it midday so we can see something here. And let's go ahead and fly. Alright, okay, so here we are, ready to fly. Here's our helicopter. You can see that it looks very, very nice from the outside, but if we go inside, you'll see that it actually looks pretty good from the inside as well. Look at this. Look at how detailed this is. Now, it's pretty... Oh, whoops. Click the wrong button. It's pretty detailed, plus all of these instruments are actually interactable, which is kind of insane. And the reason that they look so good, by the way, this works as well, like you see in the touchscreen, it's great, it's amazing. So the reason that they look so good is that basically they've done 3D scans of real helicopters, brought these scans into 3D software, and then modeled the 3D model of the aircraft based on the 3D scan. So that's why it's pretty accurate and so detailed. So I don't know why we started with the helicopter already on, but I'll just take advantage of this to show you something pretty nice. Basically, fluid dynamics, how is it called? Computational fluid dynamics has been added to Flight Simulator. Now you can see how the air moves around the helicopter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our assistance options, go to user experience, aerodynamic visualization, turn this to on, and you can actually see how the air flows around the helicopter. I think there are 100 points that are simulated, and you can see this, like the airflow around the helicopter. In fact, what's very noticeable is the lift generated by the blades in the tail rotor. You can see that it's pushing the air on the right of the helicopter tail. And in fact, if I press the pedals, which are actually these ones inside, these ones over here, if I press these pedals like this, what you'll see outside is that I'm gonna change the direction of the airflow for the tail rotor. And this is just by pressing the pedals. So it's pretty accurate, apparently, and this actually allows the simulator to simulate actual helicopter phenomenon, like the ground effect, which is when you're too close to the ground, that the helicopter will experience more lift. Transitional lift, when the helicopter moves forward, it will experience more lift. Vortex ring effect, which is basically an effect that happens when the helicopter is going straight down, and it basically forms it's a vortex that forms above the rotor and makes the helicopter fall out of the air. There's gyroscopic recession, which is simulated pretty well, and it's just this thing. It's amazing because they're not scripting events to happen. They're just simulating the particles of air around the aircraft. So that's pretty amazing. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna try to fly this helicopter. The way we're gonna do this is we're gonna actually turn it off first. And what I want to show you is basically the controls and how, in a very basic way, the helicopter works. I am not a helicopter pilot, so don't take what I say as, a definitive information. I just looked this kind of stuff up. But basically what I understand is that the helicopter can go up and down. You ask yourself, how does a helicopter go up and down, right? Because it spins its rotor, but why does it go down? Does it just reduce the RPM? Well, from what I understand, the RPM of a helicopter is constant. The way the helicopter generates lift is that it increases the pitch of the blades, just like this, you can see that the blades are exactly like an aircraft wing. They're very, very similar. You see the profile? It's like an aircraft wing. So essentially the rotor is a wing for the helicopter, and what it does, when you increase the angle of attack right here, you can see the guy bringing up the collective, it's called. When you pull the collective from inside the cockpit, look at this. This is the collective. I'm pushing it up. I'm pulling it up. And when I pull it up, basically the blades increase their angle of attack just like this. So this rotor would be spinning clockwise, seen from the top. And as I increase the airflow, the angle of attack, basically the helicopter will generate more lift, and that's what makes the helicopter fly. Now, so this is, you know, we now discovered how it goes up. It goes down the opposite way, you know. I have a high pitch, I lower it, there's less lift, and the aircraft will go down, the helicopter will go down. But how do you move forward and backwards? You know, how do you do that? Well, you know, basically, this is actually very interesting. This is probably what I find most interesting about helicopters, is that if you want to go forward, you can't, you know, how do you do that? It's not like a drone, like you know, those DJI things with 4 rotors that you can spin the back ones faster so that you can generate a moment that makes you go forward. You can't do that on a single blade helicopter. So what you're gonna do is basically there's this mechanism right here which makes sure that as the blade spins clockwise, in this case, what will happen is that basically okay, so let's divide the helicopter into 2. The front part of where the rotor spins and the back part, this hemisphere over here, right? What this mechanism does is that when you press forward, when you go forward with your cyclic, you know, this is a cyclic. When you push it forward, what happens is that basically this mechanism will make sure, right, that whatever is in this hemisphere over here, the back hemisphere, I don't know how it's called, the hemisphere, the back part of the rotor, will have a higher angle of attack. The blades will have a higher angle of attack when they are beyond this point over here. When they are over here in the front, the blades will have a lower angle of attack. So what this does is that it generates basically a stronger force here than it does in the front, and so basically this will tilt the helicopter forward. Now, what I just said isn't exactly correct, because there's another force into play which is called gyroscopic effect, that basically whatever force you apply on a spinning object basically gets applied 90 degrees in front. So if this was to spin clockwise and we were to apply a force right here at the back, basically that would be applied 90 degrees after that. So it would be applied here. So in fact, what this really does is that it's actually divided into 2 hemispheres like this, the right and the left. So in this case, when we push forward and the blades spin, when they pass this point, they have a higher angle of attack, which means that the moment pushes the helicopter forward. Now, okay, let's not get too complicated. Let's not complicate things too much. But basically, this is the general way that the helicopter works. Why do we need this tail rotor? Well, basically, that's because as the main rotor spins clockwise, it will want to make the helicopter spin counterclockwise. So this tail rotor is to compensate that effect. If I push my pedals over here, I don't know if they have a technical name, but if I push these pedals, as you can see over here, it will actually change the pitch of the tail rotor blades, and that will just determine, as we've seen before, where the airflow pushes the helicopter. Right. that being said, let's turn this baby on. So how do we do this? Okay, you can see that we have this thing at the back, which is just a fuel valve that is set to on, so that's good. We have the mixture, just like in airplanes. We'll set this to full rich, and then we have these this is magnetos, I think. Right, okay. So what we have here is the master switch. I suppose this is the battery. This will turn everything on, everything that's electrical. So you'll see this touch screen has turned on. This one is turning on right now, and it's turned on. Right, exit, continue, perfect. Now, what we're gonna do is we wanna turn on the engine. So let's revise a little bit. This is the cyclic. We can pull it up. This will increase the angle of attack of the blades, but it will do nothing to the engine. This on the front over here, we can twist this. This actually determines the engine power. All right, but how do we start the engine? Right, so let's just say that our blades are actually very, very heavy. They have a lot of inertia to them. So we can't just expect the engine to start and drag the heavy blades along with it while it's starting. It would just require too much energy. So what we will do is that we will start the engine separated from the blades, and when it's stable, we will press this button, which is actually the clutch, and the clutch will then connect the stable running engine to the blades, and then they will start getting in sync with each other. We turn on the strobe lights, we turn on the fuel pump, we turn on, I don't know, I'm not sure what this is, we're just gonna turn it on. I'm assuming it's probably useful. Nav light, landing light, and the transponder, why not? I think, how do we turn it on? Like this? Okay, it's on. Once we did that, we wanna turn the engine on. As you can see, the engine is currently off, 0 RPM, 0% power. But how do we turn it on? Well, the button is actually hidden. Well, it's not hidden, it's just hard to see in the simulator. It's right here. It's this button over here. You can see this one. You press this, and the helicopter should magically... It doesn't. Oh, that's funny. Oh, there you go. Okay, so what I was missing was the magneto. I did not have the magneto turn on. So it's actually this button right up here. This is the magneto. This has to be on, otherwise the engine will not start. This other one, this is the brake. This button over here, on the other hand, this will brake the rotor. It's actually a brake that stops the rotor from spinning, as far as I understand, but we're gonna turn this off. We don't need the brake to be on. Otherwise, we're gonna brake the engine as soon as we connect the clutch. So, now that we have the engine started, we can actually control its speed. We want to have it to around, I guess, like 1,000 RPM. Is this 1,000 RPM? Right. And then we're gonna connect the clutch. We're gonna also slowly increase the power, and we're gonna hear this terrible, terrible noise, which makes the blade start to spin. So the rotor is spinning. We are slowly increasing the RPM. All right. And I still have these things on over here. I'll turn them off as soon as possible. As soon as we get in this green range over here, we can connect the governor, which I think, by the way, was already connected. I'm pretty sure it's already connected. Okay, let's not spin that too fast. No, it's not connected. The governor is not connected. What the governor does, right? If we go over here, where we turned on the engine, the governor automatically adjusts the speed of the engine, the power of the engine, based on how much power we need to make the rotor spin. Now you could do this manually in theory, but you're just gonna go crazy, and the aircraft's gonna be incredibly hard to fly. So that's what the governor does, is automatically sets the engine power for us. Now we're gonna close this guard, and we have started our engine. Now I'm gonna remove these green lines, otherwise we're gonna go crazy over here. Okay, now we have started the engine. Now, we have to figure out how much power we're going to need in order to hover. Now, in theory, they're usually like... No, this is not the fuel gauge. Okay, there are usually tables for that, but if we don't have the table, we can still figure it out. What we're going to do is we are going to increase our collective. So we're going to slowly go up, and at around, I guess generally 60% on this helicopter. Let's see. Yep, we are hovering at around 55, 56%. So now we're pretty much very, very light on the ground, and as soon as I give it a slight bit more power, we're gonna hover and take off. So that's that. That's how we turn on the helicopter. I guess now it's just time to fly. So that's what we're gonna do. I am, again, not a helicopter pilot. I fly the Airbus A320, so don't take my advice as flying advice. But yeah, we're hovering. We are hovering. This is amazing. It's actually pretty easy to fly, I have to say. I do have assistance options enabled, but even without them, it should be a little bit harder. But still, with them, it's incredibly easy to fly this thing. So, what am I gonna do? I guess we're just gonna go over to the ship over there. We're gonna try landing there. Let's see if we can make that. So we're just gonna go over there. And you want to be really, really gentle, you know? I have collective to the maximum. The cyclic is pushed completely forward. Again, just to revise. Okay, let me give it a little bit less power over here. So again, the collective is this thing over here, and the cyclic is this thing over here. You can see that as we are moving the cyclic and the collective, this engine throttle is being automatically controlled by the governor. This is like a real thing. It's not an assistance thing on the flight simulator. It's actually a mechanical part, assuming. I don't think it's electronic. It's a mechanical part that controls the power required based on how the angle of attack of our blades is. So we're getting really close to this ship. I don't know if there are helipads on here. I don't seem to be able to see them, or maybe they... Oh no, actually those might be helipads, guys. Let's see if we can... Yep, they're helipads. Right, let's see if we can land on that. I'm gonna tilt this with the pedals and start to go down. Machinery here, but I'm actually controlling the helicopter pretty fine. I want to go a little bit more forward, and oh my god, I actually landed the helicopter. Wait, no. Okay, this was unexpected. Took me all that effort to land on here. I guess not. I guess the ship is a ghost ship. Okay, right, let's try to land somewhere else. Let me land on the tallest building in Chicago. By the way, we're in Chicago. This airfield over there, that was Meg's field. That airfield has actually a pretty rich history. I actually made another video on my channel about that. It's pretty interesting. You should watch it. Check it out. It was basically an airfield until the mayor decided to blow it up, and now it's just a park. That airfield literally does not exist anymore. I think that's Trump Tower. That's Trump Tower. Let me just try to land on Trump Tower. We're gonna pick Trump up, alright? Gonna do that. I'm gonna do that and see if I can manage. So, here we go. We're gonna... Whoa, that was definitely the least delicate thing I could do. Right, let's be very gentle here. Try to land as close to the edge as possible. Oh, look at the view. Look at the view. Oh my god. Oh my god. I wanna get closer to the edge though. Let me go to the right. Here we go. There you go. 66%, 64. We can feel the ground effect, and here we go. We landed. Lower a cyclic. Oh my goodness. Let's go outside and see the view. Oh my goodness. Let me go in showcase mode. Look at that. Look at this. Look at how beautiful, absolutely beautiful this is. It's amazing. Look at Meg's field over there. Meg's field, yeah, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice view. And look at her little helicopter. Absolutely tiny compared to the Trump Tower we're on. This is absolutely amazing. Beautiful view of Chicago. I guess helicopter is gonna be an incredible way to explore Flight Simulator, because you can take off, you can hover with helicopters, you can go slower, lower, and hover. That's what you can do with helicopters compared to airplanes. So this is gonna be pretty much an incredible way to explore some of the maps and some of the world in Flight Simulator, because it doesn't have maps, it just has the world. So that's pretty much pretty amazing. Look at that. Look at how crazy amazing this is. But it's been pretty fun because we have used the assistance options. But what if I don't want to be assisted anymore? Alright, what we're gonna do is we are going to go into our assistance options, piloting, and then we're gonna scroll down to helicopters, assisted tail rotors, turn that off, baby. And assisted cyclic, turn that off as well. Apply and save. Now, this is gonna be harder because what is assisted rotor? Well, what that did is that as we increased the lift, as we increased the angle of attack of our blades, there was more drag. So the helicopter has the tendency to want to spin, I guess, since it's spinning to the right, to the left. So the higher the angle of attack, the more the helicopter wants to spin to the left. And as far as the cyclic goes, basically, since there are only 3 blades, only 2 of them will be on one side compared to the other. So there will be more lift on one side than the other in a given moment. So that's what those 2 assistance options were helping us fight. But now we're gonna have to do this on our own using the pedals and our cyclic. So let's give it a try. Increase our collective 26%, 34, 40, and here you go. You see the aircraft is spinning to the left as I imagined, and we're gonna have to give it our rudder to the right to compensate for that. And as we go forward, it also has another, I guess, banking tendency or spinning. I can't quite tell, but I guess, you know, you just have to get the hang of it. You know, the more you increase the cyclic, the more you have to give the correct rudder input to keep it straight. So that's pretty interesting, guys. I hope you have a really good time exploring the cities and the scenery with these new helicopters. They're pretty fun to fly. I have to say, I've never been a helicopter fan, but the way you can immerse yourself into the scenery is actually pretty incredible. So hope to see you soon, guys, in the next video, and just have fun. Oh, this is amazing. Oh no, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash.